Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the invitation given to me, occasion of Labour Party conference. And I was so excited to be able to talk to you from a distance, from island called Elcho Island, a community where I grew up. When we saw the first intervention under the CLP government, we straight away jumped and really feel so cut off as being a citizen of this country, that we were being classified and being treated as a second-class citizen in our own country. Australian country, as we see it from our perspective, is a racist country. It's a racist because it is treating its first people of this land who still live and maintain their language, their law, their ceremony, their language, everything what we are as in being an Aboriginal people. That is being ignored, that is being not counted. It's not counted in education, such as bilingual education been taken away from Northern Territory government. The Welfare Act that was being practiced in 50s is still alive, still being practiced. To us, the second intervention becomes more worse than the first one. Stronger virtues, that's the name. But the practice in reality is intervention. The practice in reality is still an intervention. It's still the same as what had been in the first initiative, or first intervention under the CLP government. Labour government has initiated the same thing. And both are racist. You put something on a spoon and then you put it in our mouth like a child. You know that we're getting sick and tired. I have taken a journey. I have to lead the global community now. I went to meet with the United Nations. Then coming up the commissioner of the UN. And she had talked over with the government. She had presented all the concern that Aboriginal people were talking to her. Was that a part of the government agenda? Now they continue creating another policy. A policy that denies our rights. Policy that dehumanizes us. I know that in this conference there are a lot of parties, particular Labour parties are here represented. And I know that you are caught between. You are caught between the concern of Aboriginal people, and you are caught also that you are the minister or a public servant that work for Labour Party's government. So it's very difficult for you. But let me tell you, if there's a racist attitude in this country that the human rights are being challenged, that human rights charter, international charter is not being respected and honored, there's something wrong with this government. What will you do? You stand with the social justice, or you stand with your party and you will continue to condemn the voice of the Aboriginal people. You stole everything from us. You're taken away and leave us with nothing. And then you say to us, come to mainstream education and study like a white man. Live like a white man. Think like a white man. We're going to make everything better for you. A better classroom, but we're going to set the rules. You are setting the rules for my children, my son, my daughter. And you're telling my daughter and my son, my grandchildren, grandson, my granddaughter, you're saying to them, if you don't turn up to school, your parents will lose their parent support from the government. They're completely lost. You won't get anything, no more grant. So also you are killing the parents and you are also killing the children. What sort of government is this? Get rid of the second intervention. It's not going to succeed. It's getting more worse. It's going to create more worse. It's going to create more pain. The first intervention has killed how many Aboriginal people in Animal, and there's an appeal by Inferno. Every week, people are dying. It's not to do with the sickness. It's not a physical sickness. It's the will, as they have lost their will to live. They can't live. They're living with fear. The first intervention has stopped our very wonderful council and replace it with the Sire Council. The Sire's services in all animals are really bad because you have destroyed the self-determination in our own council. The Sire also just came in and took all our assets, everything they took. Because you say to us, you're naming, a stereotype naming to Aboriginal people, you say they are black. We are backward. We are hunter and gatherer. And we're just running around like a wild dog. We are drinkers. We are alcoholics. That's why you create a very strong law. And if you say, make this policy for Aboriginal people not to drink, we try to control a limited alcohol. But you don't do that to other citizens in this country. Only Aboriginal people are being targeted for. Think seriously. You're for intervention, you will continue to press down somebody else and control them and make them as a puppet in a string. It's a day where you're going to say, I'm going to cut this string and let these people be a free people in their own land, to determine their own destiny, determine their own ways of doing things. It's the day will come. Where is my liberty? Where's my people's liberty? What is this law? Where did you find this law? How did you create this law? Because I'm a lawman. And now my law, I studied from the time I initiated from when I was a boy and right through. And now I'm a Dalkara. Equivalent to the judge. And I don't know about Jenny Macklin today. Is she short, hard? I talked to her many times. But every time I talk to her, he goes and does the different ways. There's something wrong, maybe he need to go to the hospital and find something with his ears or his somewhere. He can't listen. There's something wrong with this woman. So what I'm saying here is to trying to help you. I'm trying to stir you up. I'm not angry, but I'm stirring you down to understand my feeling inside, how I feel. Because I live with my people and I feel their pain. I listen as the people talk about in a language. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. And I'm sorry that I'm not there. Try find ways to get rid of this intervention. Just totally destroy them. They are not an act. In the first place, if this would have come into our parliament, your parliament, every parliament would have said, get off. We don't need it. We don't want to control somebody else's life. We will never do that. Every individual has got a right to live and have his or her life being safe and live freely with his with his people with the land and the spirituality of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.